welcome back to the channel. So if you're new to my channel or you've not seen me before, my name is Aisha. I am a mum of one, first time mum. My daughter's just a year old, and I am currently exploring this kind of YouTube, blogging, vlogging avenue. I really want this to be my career going forward, and I've just really enjoyed coming back into the blogging community. I have found the mum community amazing, and the parenting community, I've really enjoyed it, and I'm just really enjoying this. So I'm here, I'm on YouTube, and this is my channel. Today I'm here to talk about my daughter's sleep association. I recently posted on Instagram and on my blog actually about Allegra's kind of issue with her sleeping and eating habits, and how they're both kind of affecting each other, and why she's not been able to sleep through the night. She was waking up 3, 4, 5. It was just it was just getting worse and worse, waking up throughout the night to feed, and she was drinking far too much milk, and there was just this kind of like terrible cycle of not eating enough food before she goes to bed, so therefore waking up through the night. Oh my god, why am I so out of breath? Let me just calm down. Whew. Okay, so she wouldn't be eating enough food before she goes to bed, so then her stomach wouldn't be settled or satisfied, then she'd wake up through the night. And because she is one, basically milk is not heavy enough to hold her for long periods of time, so she really does need to have those 3 solid meals throughout the day. But because she was drinking so much milk throughout the day, she wouldn't be hungry so much through the day, and there was just this whole kind of battle of, you know, trying to give her food, but then she wants milk, and then not giving her milk, and then she gets hungry, and then she wakes up through the night, and there was this constant cycle. And me and my husband were trying to find ways to deal with it, and we kind of just had very different approaches. I mean, this is all on my blog. There was very different approaches that we had, obviously differences of opinion, so we would end up clashing about it. I'd have like 2 or 3 days at home with her where I'd be like, no milk in the day, she's going to eat food all day long, and then he'd come home and she'd be like crying or something. He'd be like, give her a bottle, give her a bottle. I'm like, no, I don't want to give her a bottle. I just spent the whole day not giving her a bottle, so she will rely on eating food, and then your work is just going to completely undo what I've done the second you give her the bottle. So we went to the health visitors, and she basically said exactly what I had said. She's relying far too much on milk. She's not really using food as her fuel. She's using it more as an exploration, to taste, to touch, to whatever, but not really to she's not relying on that as her main source of feeding, basically. So I just wanted to give you an update on how we are doing now. So the first day we came back from the health visitors, and I made sure that Allegra had a really good solid dinner, and I can't remember what she ate. However, she had dinner, and what we did was we decided that we'd move her dinner an hour later, because the health visit was like, because she's got so much energy, we're feeding her far too early, because her last meal used to be, if she was at nursery, 4 o'clock, which is far too early, but maybe not so early if she was a child or a baby that went to bed at 6 or 7. But because she doesn't go to bed till about 8:30, she doesn't physically fall asleep till like 8:30 if we're lucky on a good day. It was just far too early for her to be having her last meal at 4 or 5 o'clock. Obviously, she was at home with me, then she'd have her last meal at 6, then she'd have a bath, because I would obviously give her the bath to kind of tire her out, and then by the time my hubby got home, he'll be the one to put her to sleep. However, it was taking him so long to put her to sleep, because she'd either eaten too early or she just wasn't tired. So basically the health visitor said to shift our bedtime routine by an hour later. So now we give her her last meal at 7:30. And what I make sure she does now is she has her bath before she has dinner. So my husband will come home, he'll have a bath with her while I finish off dinner, and then by 7:30 she will sit down, she'll have her dinner, and then we will literally just chill on the sofa, and she kind of like starts to wind down. She's obviously tired because she's digesting the food, but it's also because it's later in the day, and so my husband is able to put her to sleep a lot quicker and a lot easier. So the first night we did that, and miraculously, can you believe it, first of all, there was none of this like kind of long drawn out put into Allegra to bed process. I think my husband was walking to the kitchen, picked her up, like made his way to the kitchen, and within a second she'd just fallen asleep. That was it. Before we started this new routine, before we'd seen the health visitor, there'll be times when my husband would be walking her up and down, up and down, up and down, getting her to fall asleep. And that was one of her sleep associations. She associated being kind of rocked or walked to sleep as her means to get to sleep. And the health visitor was like, you need to kind of remove that sleep association. So we tackled those two things, the walking up and down and the drawn out process to go from awake to bed, and the eating in one battle, because actually Allegra slept that first night through the night. Like, I could not believe it. I was like convinced that this was going to be a horrible, long, drawn out journey, when actually the first night it seemed like all of our efforts kind of worked. So I was like, this is too good to be true. The next morning, woke up, she had her muesli, which she'd been refusing for the past 2 weeks. She ate everything, and I suppose that's because she didn't have any milk or anything through the night. I think there was like, when she woke up in the morning, she might have been a little bit thirsty, so we gave her a bit of water, but no milk. And then she ate her breakfast straight away, and that was a really good eating day, that second day. So yeah, so the sleeping through the night has definitely been amazing. We've made a massive progress with that. There are some nights where she still won't sleep entirely, but she'll wake up, like the last time she wake up will be 1:30 in the morning. And you know, if I think that she's had a good day of eating, then I will literally just give her some water, and if she rolls straight back off to sleep, I know that she's just thirsty. And you know, if I know that she hasn't eaten much, or she didn't eat much at dinner, I'll just give her a bottle, but she will still sleep from 1:30 till like 7:30. And for me, that is like a massive achievement, because before it was like every 2-3 hours, and it was just getting out of hand. So I feel like we've made massive progress with that. We've also now stopped giving Allegra a bottle, so now we will give her beakers. She's got like 3 different kinds of beakers, which I showed you in my previous video. I will link that down below. So she has 3 different beakers now, and eventually what we want to do is we want to phase out her bottle completely, because you know, we will give her a bottle just before she goes to bed, like, you know, when she's like winding down on the sofa. But like now I'm like, well, she actually doesn't need the bottle, because she can drink out of the beakers, and because she's not relying on milk, and because also the health visitor was saying she might be seeking some comfort from the actual sucking of the bottle. She's like, maybe just get rid of the bottle completely. So that is our next kind of step. Obviously we're doing it step by step, because there's a lot of changes that we're having to make. We're obviously having to make the changes in terms of how we put her to sleep, which is the sleep association, which is mostly her being walked up and down to bed. Then obviously there's the changes with her food. Like, obviously we're giving her food an hour later. We're being more kind of stringent on the food now. We're not just being like, oh, if she doesn't eat, we'll just give her milk. No, if she doesn't have milk, she doesn't have anything. Like, literally, I mean, I'm not saying that we're starving her, but what I'm saying is that she has to use other foods to fill herself up, whether it's fruit, veg, yogurt, breadsticks and hummus or whatever. But the point is now it's not, oh, she hasn't eaten, so let me give her some milk, because, you know, my husband was like, she's hungry, she must have milk, she must have milk. And I was like, if she's hungry, she will eventually eat. So the food's being tackled, the sleep association with the walking up and down has been tackled, the sleeping through the night has been tackled, and now the final thing is just kind of getting her from bottle to beaker completely, because, not being funny, but I absolutely hate bottles. They're just an absolute nightmare. Like, I can't wait for her to just be like just on beakers. It's just so much easier. Like, washing bottles is such a nightmare. Like we have the Dr. Brown's bottles, and they break into like 5 or 6 different parts, you know. It's like, oh, anyway, so I'm really looking forward to her getting over the bottles. The thing that we are struggling with now is Allegra is being really fussy with what she eats. So before, I don't know, Allegra would literally eat anything you put in front of her, she would love to eat. She would eat it, like, doesn't matter what it is, savoury, sweet, anything, she'd eat it. Whereas now she's very fussy. She likes dry things. So, you know, she'll eat a Weetabix dry, she'll eat Shreddies dry. She won't have muesli anymore, which used to be her favourite breakfast. She won't have that anymore because it's wet. The only things that she will have that are kind of like wet, if you want to call it, are sweet things. And the thing is, how she knows before she even puts it into her mouth that it's going to be sweet or savoury is beyond me. But she just seems to know, because she won't try it if it's savoury. How does she know that it's savoury before it's even touched her lip? I don't know, but she's not trying it. Whereas with anything sweet, she's happy to get her spoon. So we've got her cutlery now as well, so she's feeding herself. Mostly with her hands, but okay, like she'll eat her yogurt by herself, so she's got her little spoon and she'll eat her yogurt. So, you know, I tried her with I made some like sweet potato chips or wedges or whatever you call, like some chunky kind of chips. I thought she could pick that up, she could eat it. Not interested. I tried her with quiche, because obviously, again, although that's not massively dry, I thought, oh, it's something that she can kind of pick up and eat herself. Not interested. It has to be the driest of food. So it basically is at the moment waffles, and if it's not cooked and crispy and hard enough, she doesn't even touch it. It's got to be like solid. So I'm guessing that's something to do with like soothing her gums as well. I would imagine that a dry Weetabix or Shreddies must be something that she's kind of getting the pleasure out of because of the sensation that it has on her gums, because I guess she's still teething as well. So yes, so that is kind of my Allegra update. I don't know if that made any sense. I hope it did. I've written a blog post over on my blog about this and kind of how we've tackled Allegra's sleep association and her waking through the night. I know a lot of people talk about giving water, and I've seen on Instagram that has been really successful for some mums. I don't know if we waited too long in Allegra's year to finally start swapping out the milk for water, because now obviously she's much older, like she actually needs food, so giving her water throughout the night if she's not eating solids throughout the day isn't going to work anyway. And I think that's why it hadn't worked for us, because it took us so long to get to the point where we wanted to start giving her water. And to be honest, I was trying this water thing for a long time, but again, you can read this on my blog post. On my blog, my husband was like, no, she's hungry. If my child is hungry, she's going to eat. I'm not letting my child go hungry. His story is that basically he used to have about 10 bottles through the night, and look at him, he's fine, so she must be fine. I mean, I definitely don't agree with the fact that he's fine, because he has some massive lactose intolerance. Not sure if that's why, but it could be. However, I just knew that wasn't right, and I wanted to deal with it, and that's why we kind of battled against it, and that's why the progress has been slower with getting Allegra to this point. And it actually took the health visitor to be like, no, you need to try this, you need to try that, for him to actually listen to me. So I had a really big rant about it on my blog, which you can go and check out. And I had like really nice responses from people on Instagram, and they're just like, don't be so hard on yourself, don't be so hard on your husband, and you know. But I wrote that post when I was at a really down point about how I felt about Allegra's eating and the sleeping, but now I look back on it and I'm like, you know what, yeah, okay, I was a little bit melodramatic, and I shouldn't blame him, I shouldn't blame myself, we just need to move forward. And I think that we've done that, and I think that it hasn't been as bad as I thought. Allegra's responded really well to the changes. But if you want to go read on my blog, I basically do our old routine compared to our new routine, and you can kind of see what we changed and how we changed it in a more structured way. Sorry, I've got a cold, so my nose is getting bunged up. Yes, so if you have any questions in regards to, you know, getting babies to sleep through the night or sleep associations or stuff like that, do let me know. I basically struggled with sleep deprivation for this entire year that I've had a baby, and I've never been a good sleeper anyway. So I was like, well, this is just life. I could just go without the sleep, but it really starts to take a toll on me. And it got to the point where it just wasn't fair on her, because she needs a good night's sleep as well. So yeah, so I feel like the journey has not been half as bad as I thought it was going to be. And I'm really happy with the progress she's made. I'm still a little bit upset about her eating, because she's just not eating the right foods. Although she's eating, it's like, it's not what I want her to be eating. But, you know, it's baby steps, literally, at the end of the day. So, yes, that's the update. I hope you found this useful. If I haven't been clear or I've just waffled on, please feel free to ask me any questions that I could kind of clarify or whatever. It's been good talking to you guys. I'm about to go to the doctors now. So I've got to go, but I will see you in my next video.